Welcome back. Well, let's get our first guest on board. We have Gurmeet Chadha of Complete Circle Consultants to join in to give us a list of stocks that he's looking at and, of course, what to expect from the big cues that are lined up. Gurmeet, good morning. Later this evening, we have both Infy and HCL Tech reporting numbers, and the fear is that Infy could talk about higher furloughs this time, as HCL Tech did mid-quarter. What do you do with these names if they are in your core portfolio?
Sonia, I think a lot of concerns are in the price and the way IT has performed entire FY22. We also saw with TCS that the results weren't as bad as even the commentary I found was I would not say very optimistic, but they gave a very detailed commentary, even vertical wise. Infosys, I would look for they highlighted some weakness in BFSI, especially in the mortgage sector, bit weakness in retail and high tech. So I want to see, because BFSI contributes a third in terms of verticals. Also, Europe contribution is about 25-30% for these two biggies. So that's something we'll have to look out for. But I, in general, feel that IT spend is more structural, and 1 or 2 quarters slowdown doesn't really change the long-term story. Infosys remains a portfolio stock. There was some absence of large deal wins in terms of any updates we got. So I think that's something I would like to monitor. But as I said, they are doing well. Valuations are a little more reasonable now. Their cloud revenue last quarter was almost $1 billion, of $4.6 billion they did. So led by Cobalt. So I'm not really too pessimistic at these prices. HCL again, trades at about 16 times now. So some of it is in the price, in my view. You may have another quarter of some softness, but it doesn't change the long-term outlook.
Good morning, Gurmeet. Let me paint a beautiful picture for you. CPI number comes. Expectation is core CPI will grow 0.3% month on month. It comes minus 1% month on month. You get dollar is lower, equities are higher, rates are under control, and suddenly inflation seems like a very 2022 problem. I know it's too much to ask, but just a question on the market, Gurmeet. How are things looking? This seems to be, and I put this data out yesterday, the first 10 days of 23, most local other markets are getting money. Regional markets are getting money, but here there is a bit of outflow. $1 billion, actually more than $1 billion, $1.5 billion or so. Is this just some kind of tactical near-term reallocation, according to you? What is going on?
So Prashant, I think some bit of tactical reallocation. I think the pace of selling is not a little bit; it's much higher. 12,000 crores in first 10 days is serious selling. Also, I think if you see the FI holding the top 3-4 stocks, and especially the weightage on financials and IT for FIs is very high. Financials is 50%, IT is the second one. And top 3-4 stocks probably make 40-50% of the investments as far as Nifty 50 is concerned. So some of it is tactical, with money moving to even the bond. The 2-year bond has been 4.5% plus, and some maybe due to China reopening. There is also some, I was speaking to some friends. I don't want to do any rumor mongering, but there's some also fear of this LTCG rationalization also. While the flows, the quantum may not justify that. I mean, there's some rumor of 20% coming across asset classes, right? Currently, it's different. So I don't know. There's too many stories around that, and the dollar index is showing something else. Rupee is done. So it's a bit of a mixed picture in my view. But I'm not reading too much into that. I think the domestic flows continues to be strong, and there's a lot of liquidity. I speak to a lot of family offices, a lot of ultra HNIs. There's a lot of liquidity on the sidelines. So my sense is there'll also be some flow if you see more, another maybe 5-10% correction in the market.
All right. Hi, Gurmeet. Good morning. Gurmeet, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, they have been the big wealth creators. Now, post that quarterly update that did come about, the stock has seen quite a sharp correction. They're growing, but as we have been saying, when at the top ranker in the class, you're expected to continue, beating by a big margin. What's your sense of the stock? It's come off the 52-week high.
Nigel, similar story playing out like with HDFC and Kotak, right? Which happened for 2-3 years. If you command, so Bajaj was 8-9 book value. And at one point of time, at $8,000, it was almost 10 price to book. If you command that kind of a multiple, any miss, I would not say last quarterly update was a miss, but it was a normal growth, right? With quarter-on-quarter growth being slightly lower, while year-on-year growth was still around almost 27-28% on assets. Then and despite this correction, it's still 5.5, 6 value. So interest rates are like, they have a gravitational pull on valuations. So anything which is high valued, and if the growth slows down, we saw that with Tata Elxsi, again, unrelated example, how it fell from 11,000 to 6,000, when it stopped growing 8% quarter on quarter and came down to 5% quarter on quarter. So I think this will play out. I mean, we have to be more reasonable on valuations. But as I said, Bajaj has always come back after, large drawdowns we have seen. I think they're still at about 2.3, 2.4 lakh crore asset base. Their margins are best. Their NIMs are at about 11%. Their cost of funds is sub 7%. And they continue to grow at a very healthy pace, much ahead. And in terms of much better asset quality, and housing now, it makes a significant portion of their overall lending mix, which improves, any further extension in credit costs, etc. So, remains on our leverage, remains a portfolio stock for us. I'm more keen on something like Poonawalla FinCorp, where we've seen, that kind of growth can come with just about 18,000 crores of assets. Mr. Poonawalla talking of 50,000 crore assets in next 2-3 years, which is a very sharp growth. They got AAA rated months back. So now their cost of funds is almost same as Bajaj Finance, 6.9%, flush with liquidity. I'm seeing a good digital ecosystem getting built. They're getting rid of the legacy book they had when they acquired Magna FinCorp. So that's something which is more in terms of, me being tempted to look at. But Bajaj Finance, we continue to remain invested for long term.
Okay, all right, interesting. Poona Fin as well, Poonawalla FinCorp, and continue to remain invested in Bajaj Finance. Gurmeet, request you to hang on. The metal stock, it's been catching everyone's attention. So let's focus